I got a few minutes spare. But yeah, not a lot to do on this bike. I got a few minutes spare today, so I thought I'd get some jobs done on the Exact weld. Just bled the front brakes up, cleaned the pads up and ordered some new front brake pads. And then the next job is to do a gear lever on it. So basically the gear lever in my hand, it's made out of say 5mm or 6mm plate, not very thick for a gear lever, and I keep bending it. So I need to make something a bit stronger for my manly feet, and see if we can get a nice gear change without being excessive, etc. So yeah, today's job, I'm going to make a gear change for it, and then it's just run it up really and just make sure it's ready to go. But yeah, not a lot to do on this bike. So looking at the gear lever, we've got a 15mm hole for the foot peg pivot. I kept it quite simple, it's 15mm long, 15mm hole, made out of say 23-24mm tube. So I think we make the pivot point first, and then we can cut some plate and then make some ends to go on it for the shifting. So let's get some tube cut. Right guys, so this is made out of say 5mm alley, and I've got a nice sheet here of 8mm, so I think that'll be plenty strong enough. So all I'm going to do is just trace out a couple of these and then get them cut out, see how we go. Right, I have just modified the design slightly. I want to move the pivot point so it's level. So I've made this bit bigger so then I can move the pivot point along. Alright, there's number one done. I'm not going to bore you with number two, and we'll catch up in a minute. So I've got the plates cut out now. I've marked on there where I want to drill my holes. So I'm just going to get some pilot holes drilled now, and then we'll measure up and see what size holes we need for the rest of the work. Right guys, that's the plates made. The pivots. Now it's time to weld them. So let me get the workshop nice and hot and we'll get some welding done. So that's them welded. Now I just need to make an end for the levers. It's got a bit of alley turned down with a bit of rubber on. I think they might just make a nice and nailed end for them. See how that goes. So I'm back on the lathe. Just gonna do a bit of a knurl on the Ex Tonny. Put some grooves in it. And hopefully that'll stop the foot slipping off when I want to change gear. Put it to 11. Put it back in put it off. I'm going to bang a 5mm thread through it. A 5mm hole. Put an M6 thread into it. Into that, and then I can screw it onto the lever, and we're all good. Right guys, got our plate all welded up, looking nice. We got our end, we've had thread in it, and we just got to put a countersink in here, so we can use a countersunk bolt, and then nothing can touch on the other side. Well, it's a big alley, so it's got that. It's just nice. And a little bit of blue Loctite on there. I don't want it coming under. Put it in the vise to tighten her up. And that's nice and tight. So there she is. Now, like I said when I first made this, I've made this area a bit bigger. So that gives me a choice of where to put the linkage. I just felt that wing was a bit too far off. Maybe they have their gear lever a lot further down than I do. I have mine nearly almost horizontal. So yeah, I just want to move it round a bit really. So yeah, heavy foot, big foot. Alright, let's get that drilled out and then we can get it back on the bike. Alright then guys, the test. Let's try it on the bike and see if it does what we want it to do. is on and she misses everything. That is a bonus. Footrest tightened on. She's on there, look at that. One up. Neutral. Second. And sixth gear, so get all the gears. A bit more direct with a pivot moved further round. So fingers crossed, that is what we want it to do. My dad wants me to change the silencers, but I think they'll be alright. What do you reckon? They're only short, about 150mm long, but the bike's not very loud. I think we run it, take it through sound test and see how it gets on. Anyways, I think that's me done for today, so I'll catch you all later. Right guys, so we run the 320 on the dyno. It's making 45 brake horsepower, not really the greatest figures. I did find the rear tyre had gone flat, so I've done a puncture repair on that, run it again, and it's making 48 brake horsepower. The 250L I used to have made 64 brake horsepower, so I think a 320 should be pushing that with big torque, or it should be more power. So I'm gonna have a play about with the timing, check the jets, make sure everything's set up right, and go from there.